Okay, hi everyone. So let's talk about writing introduction. So be sure to watch this. Well, hopefully you're watching this before you start your introduction. Okay, so I'm just going to start by going over some ABA stuff, so some formatting things, and then I'll move on to how to actually write. You'll kind of learn writing an introduction is something that you learn forever, basically. So it's not something you're going to be perfect at in your first attempt, but I still want it to be pretty solid and follow this basic structure that we'll get to. But for now, let's just talk about APA format. So remember we said if you read the syllabus, which hopefully you did, um, we're going to think critically about different methods, understand the research process in psychology, but also learn how to write APA style papers and become better writers. So we could spend a whole course on these last two, but here's what we here's what we can fit. So when you write an APA paper, you're going to have a title page, an abstract, an introduction, method, results, discussion, and references. Right? Title page is, well, pretty self-explanatory. An abstract is just going to be a short summary of your paper, but you don't have to do that. The introduction is where you introduce your research question, you review previous research and then you introduce your question, how it's novel, why it's important. And then method, that's where you describe, oh, an introduction is also where you state your hypothesis, of course. The method is going to be where you describe how you went about answering your question. So what was the design of your study? What did you manipulate? Who were your subjects or participants? What did they do exactly? What were the measures? All that stuff. And then you have the results where you look at where you report all your stats. Discussion, you talk about what your results actually tell you. So what are the implications of the study? Um, again, why is it important? And also what might be some limitations in future directions. And then references where you of course include all the links, or not links, but citations for the papers that you cited. So for your paper, I want to be clear, you're only doing the title page, introduction, and then later you'll do the methods. So the final, or let me clarify, um, first, the next assignment is just going to be title page and introduction, and then the final assignment is going to be title page, intro, and methods. Oh, and references for both. Okay, so next assignment, just title page and introduction, and references, and then it's going to be title page, intro, method, and references for the final proposal. Okay. So there's a template you can use on Canvas. It's a PDF, so you can't just retype it, but you can pretty much you can look at that and follow that exactly to make your title page and all that stuff. So a few things. Double spacing should be used throughout the paper, including your references. Okay. Make sure you set it to double spaced. And again, including your references. You're not going to add any extra spaces between paragraphs or sections. The only exception is that you add one extra line on the title page between the title and name, which I'll show you an example of. You're going to use 12 point Times New Roman and set the margins to 1 inch all around. So that's going to be left, right, top, and bottom. Should be a 1 inch. Also, don't hit right justify. Each paragraph should be indented. The first line should be indented a half an inch. If you're assuming you're working in a Word, a lot of these might be set, but you definitely want to double check them, make sure this is working. The only exception to this indentation is the abstract, but you're not doing that, so you don't have to worry about it. Actually, one more exception is going to be your references. Each reference is going to be double spaced, or sorry, indented, but only after the first line. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so when you write an APA paper, you're going to have page number, and not for this class, but usually you would also have a running head. Okay, so professional style only, you'd have a running head. A running head is just going to be a shortened version of the title. Okay? But again, for this class, you're just going to have the page number. And that's going to go in the top right hand. Okay, so moving on to title page, you should have the page header, and then so that's going to be page number, and then you're going to have the title of the paper. So it's not going to be in all caps, but you're going to capitalize only important words. So that's going to be any nouns, any verbs, but not minor words like of or the or stuff like that. The only exception is the first word is going to be capitalized regardless. And it should be on the top half of the title, centered and double spaced. Okay. After your title, you're going to add an extra line. So this is the one exception we mentioned. You're going to have your name or the author's name. It's going to go first name, middle initial, and then your last name. Okay. And then you're also going to have the author's institutional, again, affiliation, which is Department of Psychology, Colorado State University. And number 3 and 4 are again centered and double-spaced. So there's actually a couple differences between a professional paper and a student paper. So on a professional paper, like when you're submitting to a journal, you're going to have author's notes, including the author to contact, mailing address. But obviously, we're not doing that because it's a student paper. Professional also has a running head, so the shortened title. And then, but for students, you're going to have course number. So obviously this, instructor's name, that's me, and then the due date. Okay. All right. So let's see what all that looks like. So here's the page number, of course, top right-hand corner. And again, or if it was a professional paper, you would have a running head over here, but you're doing a student paper, so you're not going to have that. Here's the title. Notice a few things here. First of all, it should be in bold. And it's also centered like the rest of this. Notice how the first letter of the first word rather, is in caps, and then nouns like interesting and important study are in caps, but stuff like and is not going to be in caps. Here's the student name. Could actually have a middle initial. Well, actually, middle initial is optional. So, but most people, but it's up to you. You don't have to have it actually. Institutional affiliation, Colorado State University. You could say Department of Psychology, but it's not required. Course. Here would be my name, of course, and then the due date. Okay. Just a few other APA things while we're on the subject. So at the top of your introduction, again, you should have page numbers. You're going to have the title of your experiment or of your study here, and it's going to again be in bold. Okay. Let's see what else. So just a few other things. So this is what I mean by running head again, which you should not have, but if you do write a professional paper at some point, you want one of these. It's again just the shortened title of the paper. Okay. Let's see. I guess I might as well. I'll show you how to do a page number. It's pretty straightforward. But if you just go to insert, hit tab a few times over on the right, and then just go page number. Go to current position. There we go. And that's all you. If you again needed to, but not that you do need to, you would just do the same thing. Insert running header. It's not level, but it doesn't matter for us. So just make sure you have the page. And also just make sure it appears on every page, so you don't just have it on the first page. Yeah, so it's not on the second page for some reason. So let's see. Usually if you go to doing this for some reason. Hang on just a second. Yeah, well, I don't know why it's not working this time. That's probably an easier way to do it. Just go to insert page number, top of page. Let's see. There we go. And then just get rid of this one. Okay. That's the page number. Let's see what else. We talked about margins. So just go to layout there, check your margins. That was it. Got the wrong one. So 25 inches is what we want. And then, yeah, that's about it. So let me know if you have any questions. And then next we'll talk about actually writing